Companies around the world operate strategically. They pay you a salary, but just enough so that by the next month, you need money again. In reality, the purpose of your paycheck isn't to make you wealthy. It's to ensure you keep working until the next cycle. Most people, as soon as they receive their paycheck, spend it without thinking, indulging in impulse purchases during the first few days. The problem is that by the end of the month, the money is already gone. For employers, this reality is extremely advantageous because it prevents employees from accumulating enough capital to invest in themselves or find a way out of this repetitive cycle to achieve financial independence. Many middle-class workers ease this frustration by turning to alcohol every Friday because they don't have the time or money to invest in something more productive. However, escaping this trap isn't as complicated as it seems. There's a simple method to avoid wasting your salary, a set of 4 essential actions that everyone should adopt when receiving their paycheck. The first step is to review where your money went last month. It sounds easy, but in practice, this can be one of the most challenging tasks. The truth is, most people can't remember where they spent 60% of their last paycheck. Sure, there are fixed expenses, housing, food, bills. But what about the rest? Were those expenses really worth it? Chances are, a big chunk of your money went toward things that have already been consumed, drinks, or simply forgotten. Now, look around and try to identify something you bought with your last paycheck that will still be useful for a long time. Most people will only recall a few pieces of clothing or impulse buys from websites like AliExpress. In the end, the harsh truth is this. You might as well have handed half of your paycheck to a stranger on the street. The outcome wouldn't have been much different. If what you just read reflects your reality, don't worry. You're not alone. Most people end up wasting their salary without even realizing it. However, that doesn't mean you should simply accept this situation. The good news is that there's a simple solution. Start tracking all your monthly expenses from now on. And when I say all, I mean every single cent spent, even that bag of chips you bought at the grocery store. By reviewing this list at the end of the month and calculating how much money was spent on unnecessary purchases, many of which you don't even remember, something will change in the way you consume. The next time you think about buying something unnecessary, like that same bag of chips, you'll probably hesitate before spending. This doesn't mean you have to deprive yourself of small pleasures or moments of leisure. However, if most of your money is being drained by these kind of expenses, it's time to reassess your financial habits. Moving forward, write down every purchase you make and review your spend at the end of the month. In the first month, you might notice about a 10% reduction. In the second, another 10%, and so on without needing a salary increase. Little by little, you'll see your money go further without any extra effort. An even more effective strategy is to create a plan for how you intend to use your salary throughout the month. This will not only improve your financial health, but could also bring benefits to your physical health. Cutting back on expenses for sweets, fast food, alcohol, and other harmful products can make a big difference. At the end of the month, review your plan and assess whether you managed to stick to it. If you had difficulties, try to understand what prevented your success. After organizing your budget, it's time to take the next step, and this is the most important one for the long term: saving. This habit will be the key to becoming financially independent, generating passive income, starting your own business, traveling, or simply having more freedom to choose how to live. However, this is also the most challenging step, as it requires a high level of discipline. U.S. Senator and Professor Elizabeth Warren, the creator of a personal finance system, suggests that the ideal is to save 20% of your salary. However, this doesn't mean that the more you save, the better. If you completely eliminate small pleasures from your routine to save as much money as possible, frustration will set in before you even reach a significant amount. The result? Your savings plan won't last more than a few months and will end in total failure. On the other hand, it's also not wise to save less than you should. Of course, everyone has a different financial reality. If most of your salary goes toward housing and essential expenses, being able to save even 1% per month is already progress. But if you have room to save money, don't overlook its importance. Instead of seeing that amount as money you're not spending, view it as an investment that will bring you far greater benefits and freedom in the future. One of the biggest challenges when trying to save is a lack of discipline, which makes this habit even harder to maintain. The temptation to spend everything you earn is one of the biggest obstacles for those seeking financial independence. Many people believe this won't be a problem, but we live in a highly consumer-driven world where we are constantly encouraged to buy something. The deals are tempting, the products seem essential, and when money is available, resisting becomes even harder. You might have already thought, next month I'll start saving. This is one of the most dangerous thoughts and needs to be eliminated. One of the most effective methods to avoid impulse purchases is applying the 3-day rule. Marketing takes advantage of our emotions, and many times we don't even know exactly why we feel the urge to buy something. We just suddenly want to purchase it. Experts in this field understand this mechanism and know exactly how to exploit it. They create a sense of urgency by claiming that a discount is about to expire, that only a few units remain, or that you can complete your purchase in just 2 clicks. All of this is designed to convince you to act without thinking. At this moment, you should pause and ask yourself, do I really need this product? Give yourself a 3-day window before making any purchase decision. Most of the time, after this period, that impulsive desire fades away, and you start analyzing the situation more rationally. If, after this time, you realize that you truly need the item and that it will be useful in your daily life, then go ahead and buy it. But if you notice that you were simply influenced by a marketing strategy, congratulations. You just avoided an unnecessary expense and kept your money for something more important in the future. And don't regret missing out on a can't-miss sale or discount. Keep in mind that if these deals were truly beneficial for consumers, sellers wouldn't offer them. When you learn to distinguish between what is essential and what is unnecessary, your savings will grow much more than if you bought anything that comes your way, even at a discounted price. If you find it hard to wait the 3 days and feel an uncontrollable urge to spend, you might be dealing with a more serious issue, shopping addiction. Breaking this pattern quickly can be challenging, but there is a practical solution. An effective alternative is to ask for support from someone you trust. When you receive your salary, set aside 20% of it and give it to a friend, family member, or someone close to hold on to for a set period, such as 3 months. This will prevent you from spending that money impulsively and help you build a savings habit. However, choose someone you truly trust, and if necessary, request a receipt to avoid any misunderstandings in the future. If you have trouble controlling your spending and don't have someone you trust to hold on to your money, there's one alternative left: investing. The best strategy is to immediately put that money into something that can generate returns in the future. There's no shortage of options. You can invest in real estate financing or any project you consider promising. The advantage is that in the 21st century, getting started with investing is easier than ever. Today, you can take your first steps in the financial market with as little as $10. Investing requires knowledge and a good balance between risks and opportunities. But if you're willing to learn and take the time to understand how the market works, this can be an even more beneficial alternative than simply saving 20% of your salary without a clear strategy. Once your budget is organized and the necessary amount has been set aside, you can spend the rest of your money with more peace of mind. The first step is ensuring that your basic needs are covered: housing, essential bills, debt, and food. Traditionally, this category of expenses takes up to 50% of the budget and serves as a foundation for any solid financial plan. However, this proportion no longer reflects the reality of many people. The economic landscape has changed. Inflation has risen, real estate prices have skyrocketed in many areas, and food costs have also increased. Studies show that in major cities, it's nearly impossible to cover all essential expenses with just half of one's salary. For this reason, some economists suggest increasing this percentage to 70% or even 80% of one's income. Given this new reality, the old 50-30-20 model, popularized by Elizabeth Warren, has been adapted to 60-20-20. This change may seem significant, but in practice, it's not as alarming as it sounds. Adjusting your financial planning to reflect this new distribution could be the key to maintaining a balanced budget without compromising your ability to save. Let's break down how this allocation works in practice. The most essential expense is housing, whether it's rent or a mortgage payment. This is your roof over your head. and try and cut costs excessively in this area can cause more problems than solutions. The best approach is to set aside this amount as soon as your paycheck hits your account and pay it immediately to avoid late fees and potential penalties. This is usually the largest monthly expense, and for many people, it can take up almost half of their budget at once. In major cities, students and early career professionals may find that their entire income is consumed by housing costs. The main recommendation here is to find a place that fits within your financial means and only deal with trustworthy landlords. If money is tight, there's no shame in opting for a simpler home for a while. The most important thing is ensuring you can still cover other essential expenses. After all, no one starts at the top, and even self-made millionaires have faced tough conditions in the past. Charles Aznavour once lived in a barn, and Xi Jinping spent part of his youth living in a cave. Facing the stage with resilience may even become a story to tell in the future. Beyond housing, there are also basic utility costs, such as electricity, water, and internet. The best approach is to list all your recurring expenses and check in advance that they are up to date. Don't wait until the last minute to make these payments. Unexpected situations happen, and late fees can lead to unnecessary financial strain. When it comes to financial organization, one of the worst traps is accumulating debt. Keeping everything paid on time is an essential step in avoiding future financial problems. If you have loans or financing, they should be high on your list priorities, right after housing. Poorly managed debt can become a heavy burden and, in extreme cases, lead to severe financial struggles. As soon as you receive your paycheck, make at least a minimum required payments. If possible, pay extra to reduce your outstanding balance and minimize interest. Debt can become a major obstacle to financial progress, making it harder to build wealth and, in extreme cases, leading to bankruptcy. Food expenses. Strategically managing food expenses can make a big difference in your budget. The best way to avoid waste is to plan your grocery shopping in advance. Create a detailed shopping list and stick to it, avoiding impulse purchases like expensive snacks or frequent takeout orders, which can quickly drain your money. If your goal is to save, a smart approach is to create a weekly meal plan and shop only once, reducing unnecessary trips to the grocery store. The more often you visit, the greater the temptation to spend on non-essential items. During tight budget periods, it's also a good idea to avoid elaborate recipes that require expensive or uncommon ingredients. If you buy an exotic product and don't like it, the money will be wasted. To start, opt for basic foods that are easy to prepare and have a long shelf life, such as grains, pasta, vegetables, meat, and fish. However, cutting costs does not mean compromising food quality. For success, your brain needs to function at its best, and nutritional deficiencies can directly affect your cognitive performance. Going long periods without proper nutrition can harm both your health and productivity. The key is to find a balance between cost and nutritional value, ensuring an affordable diet without sacrificing essential nutrients. Transportation. This is an essential part of the budget, but often goes unnoticed. If you use public transportation daily to get to work or school, it's worth planning your trips in advance and looking for ways to cut costs. Most major cities offer monthly or even annual passes, which are usually much more cost-effective than buying individual tickets every day. For those who own a car, the comfort and convenience are undeniable, but the expenses can be significantly higher. In addition to fuel, there are costs for maintenance, insurance, and potential repairs. Ideally, you should set aside a portion of your budget for these expenses at the beginning of the month and be prepared for unexpected situations, as an unplanned repair can quickly strain your finances. If saving money is the goal, a bicycle can be an excellent alternative. It requires no fuel, has low maintenance costs, and also provides health benefits. If your daily commute is short, this option is worth considering. For even shorter distances, walking might be the simplest and most cost-effective solution. Personal expenses. The last part of the budget is dedicated to making life more balanced and enjoyable. Allocating a portion of your money to leisure and well-being is essential, as living just to pay bills can lead to burnout and lack of motivation. Relaxing and taking care of yourself are also part of a healthy life. Here's how to allocate this amount wisely. Clothing. Your style isn't just about aesthetics. It's also a reflection of your confidence and the image you project to others. The way you dress influences how people perceive you, so it makes sense to invest in your appearance. However, unlike Steve Jobs, who embraced a minimalist wardrobe, most people need to update their clothing from time to time. The key is to find a balance. Buy new clothes only when you truly need them, not just because they're on sale. If your wardrobe is still in good shape, it might be wiser to allocate that money to another priority. After all, style isn't about the number of clothes you own, but about making well-thought-out choices. Entertainment, leisure activities like watching movies, attending concerts, grabbing coffee with friends, or go to parties are essential for maintaining balance and making life more enjoyable. However, to prevent these expenses from getting out of control, it's important to plan ahead and set a budget for entertainment each month. That way, you can enjoy yourself without jeopardizing your finances. Hobbies. Having a passion or hobby is crucial. Not only does it bring personal satisfaction, but also makes life more engaging. Whether it's drawing, playing an instrument, practicing sports, or any other activity, investing in equipment, materials, or training can be a great use of your money. After all, a hobby isn't just an expense. It's also an investment in your well-being and personal growth. Travel. If you love exploring new places and changing your surroundings, plan small trips within your budget. It could be a hike in the mountains, a visit to a nearby city, or even a relaxing day at a spa. These moments of escape help you recharge and gain new experiences without putting a strain on your finances. Soul food. We're not talking about basic nutrition here, but rather about culinary pleasure. Treat yourself to your favorite coffee shop, order sushi at home, or buy that special chocolate you've been craving. Small indulgences like these make a big difference in your daily life and help keep you motivated without compromising your financial stability. Self-development. This may be the most valuable investment you'll ever make in yourself. Many people claim they don't have the time or money to learn something new, but with efficient financial planning, this priority becomes feasible. Use part of your 30% for courses, books, workshops, or any other form of personal and professional growth. Learning and evolving aren't just enriching activities. They are concrete steps toward a brighter future. Spend this money wisely and mindfully, always within your budget. You deserve comfort, joy, and progress, so make the most of the percentage responsibly. If your ultimate goal is to achieve financial independence, but your boss has never even considered giving you a raise, these 4 strategies might be exactly what you need to take the next step. It's not just about earning more money. It's about using it wisely and strategically to create the life you want. Now that you know the salary routine, why not start applying it to your own life? Small changes can lead to significant results in your financial future. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with someone who also needs to learn how to manage money wisely. See you in the next video.